Greetings and welcome everyone, I am RavenVal95 and I'll be doing a review of a slightly older game by the name of Anna Extended Edition, a psychological, horror, physics-based environmental puzzle game by Dream Painters and published by Calypso Media. It's available on PC, Mac and Linux. Anna starts off with a young man who is suffering from amnesia and has reoccurring dreams of a sawmill in the mountains. He's determined to try and remember who he was. He heads to the sawmill in hopes of finding out about his past life, and also about a woman called Anna who seems to be calling for him. Also from now on, I'm calling the protagonist Chester. Chester has a dark past that he is unable to remember. By solving puzzles inside the sawmill will slowly reveal to Chester what he has forgotten and why. Your memories will be revealed to you through many ways, including mysterious voices, scribblings on the walls, books found in cupboards, and intuitions. I'll be talking about intuitions later, so let's just skip to the gameplay. The opening level of Anna is probably one of the best ways I can think of to try and find out if you are going to love and adore Anna's gameplay, or hate and despise Anna's gameplay. And that one level consists of one puzzle in which you must open a door. First, in order to open the door, you must remove this rock from another pile of rocks to find a dirty object underneath it. Then you need to put the dirty object into the brook, and then go over to the little door under the stairs to use your folding hunting knife to cut some string so you can open the little doors. After that, pick up a wooden branch in order to break down the wall found in the little door. Set the drag branch inside the little wall on fire with your lighter in order to see the mechanisms in the little door area thing. Now go look for a pebble so that you can break the glass above the main door. After breaking the glass, you must use your wooden branch to grab the gear. Now with both gear pieces, put both pieces of the gears together and then tie them up with a string, and then place them on the mechanism in the little door area. And voila! You have now completed the tutorial level and opened a single door. And as Anna progresses, the puzzle I just described to you actually looks really quaint in comparison. Especially since in later puzzles, you'll have to backtrack through multiple rooms to find just a single item, and then you'll have to figure out which items you have are actually useful and which items are not because the developer said so. Like in the level I just described to you, there's actually a section where you have to clean the dirty object, and this is actually a good example of some of the logic for some of the later puzzles. Here I have to put the dirty object into the brook. Okay, gotta clean it, right. But I have a full canteen of water that I got from the brook, by the way. It's normally an empty canteen, and I can't clean it. Why not? Because the game's logic just says I can't. And that sort of logic continues throughout the entirety of the game, and it really is one of Anna's biggest downfalls. The puzzles are a huge focus of this game, so when the puzzles aren't absolutely perfect, it really brings the experience of the game down as a whole. Earlier I mentioned intuitions, and that is another element of how Anna tells its story, and I'm not a real big fan of it. At first they look like basic plot summaries. You click it and it tells you about something that happened earlier on, but then you can combine them to try and figure out new information about your surroundings. It's a very interesting way of telling the story, but it really isn't that useful, as it doesn't really give you any new information, but rather it just says stuff you've already most likely figured out. So it'll just force you to solve the intuitions anyway, as in order to get the best ending you need to get all intuitions. Oh yeah, that's right. There are multiple endings to this game. In fact, there are a lot of endings to this game, although that's not real endings. Most of them are just pretty much cop-outs where you just leave the house after performing a certain event. They just sort of half-ass it and then say, we'll do 3 or 4 endings that actually change your perspective on the game, and then the rest are sort of you just leaving the sawmill area, and then that's it. So that's pretty disappointing actually. Well, since there's not really that much more to talk about the gameplay, why not talk about the sounds and music, another very big element of horror games. The sound in this game is a real mixed bag actually. For the most part, the game has pretty good sound effects, lots of very creepy vibes to it, very nice sort of sounds, very meaty, and in other times it'll have, well, this. Yeah, some sound effects really leave a lot to be desired and can really kill the mood. The music, however, is much better, mostly because there really isn't that much music at all. It's mostly ambient noise up until the credits of the game, in which you'll hear an actual song, which serves as a nice reward for all your hard work through the game. Speaking of hard work, the graphics of Anna are very nice. The texture quality is very consistent across the board and nothing really sticks out as if it doesn't belong. There's no incredibly low texture resolutions or incredibly polygonal models or anything like that. Everything looks like it belongs in this game's world. In addition to the graphical quality, Anna makes great use of colors, starting off with lots of greens and whites to sort of represent a more peaceful, calming area to say that you're safe, and then as soon as you enter the sawmill, it'll go to a much darker, more industrial dark grey and dark brown color palette, and then finally ending on a red and black tone as you work your way towards the end of the game. Each color palette representing a new tone for the game in that specific point. Each also really effectively drive home the point of what sort of atmosphere the game is going for at that point, and it's just done very beautifully. I quite like it. Very nice work by the developers. However, the options menu is not as good as the game's use of color. It's decent with options for VSync, ambient occlusion, anti-aliasing, noise, and resolution options, but it is not the best, as it has no field of view slider and no statement of what anti-aliasing is being used or how much, or even anisotropic filtering or anything like that. But it is serviceable enough and has lots of presets to choose from if you don't want to mess about with the options menu, so that is always a choice. Also, if you prefer your games without DRM, then I'm afraid you're in for some bad news if you plan on purchasing Anna on Windows. If you purchase Anna for Windows, you'll have to use Calypso Media's own DRM, in which you'll have to create an account and put a CD key in and all that, and it's not that much of a hassle, but I bring it up because of how odd the DRM is, or rather how odd it is on Mac and Linux. Why is it odd on Mac and Linux? Well, that's because it's odd because it's not there at all. The Mac and Linux versions of Anna are completely DRM free. I have no idea why this is, and I can't possibly think of a reason why, but okay, I guess. So if you like your games DRM free, then I guess install Linux or Macs or OS X or whatever operating system they use. So that's something. In conclusion, Anna is a game that is trying to tell a very imaginative story, but ultimately fails due to its puzzle design frustrating the player and forcing them to focus more on inventory management and pixel hunting than actually following along with the story. There is an ending in Anna for leaving the sawmill as soon as you enter it, and it is considered the good ending. If this means Anna would like me to leave, I am more than happy to do so. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my review on Anna Extended Edition. It would mean a lot if you gave my video a thumbs up, subscribed, and shared it around on social media websites like Google Plus and MySpace. And on that note, GG.